Okay, welcome to week 8. We're going to talk about graphs of quadratics. Before this, we've only talked about linear things, straight lines. A quadratic is this curved figure right here. It's called a parabola, and the parabola has different parts. There's something called the line of symmetry, and what the line of symmetry is this line right here, right down the middle. Okay, that's the line of symmetry. I'm going to actually highlight that in yellow so that it matches the yellow on the graph. And the line of symmetry is the middle line, and it always is going to be an x equals something, because see how it touches the x-axis? And where does it touch the x-axis? Here it touches the x-axis at 2, so the line of symmetry is going to have an equation with x equals 2, and it crosses the vertex. The vertex is the point where the function changes direction. Okay, the vertex in this point is 2, -2, 2, -2. Actually, I will highlight that one in purple, and I will do purple. The vertex is where it changes direction. Okay, it'd be the top or bottom of the U. Okay, so here's the bottom of the U. If I had a parabola that went this way, this would be the top of it or the bottom of it. That's what that means. The x-intercepts, let's pick the color pink. The x-intercepts are where the function or where the graph touches the x-axis. Where function touches the x-axis. And so in this case, it's touching it at the point 1, 0 and 3, 0. So those are the x-intercepts. And let's see, go another color for the y-axis, or the y-intercepts. We'll do red. And the y-intercept is going to be where it touches the y-axis. And here it is right here, up on 6. When the function, when f of x touches the y-axis. And at this point here, it is at 0, 6. Well, notice the x-intercepts have zeros for the y's, and the y-intercept has a 0 for the x. So that rule doesn't change. So let's keep going through and explore. We're going to use Desmos to investigate the quadrilateral functions. Oh, I should have put this on so I could use the computer. I don't have that. That's okay. So does it open upward or downward? Well, one way to tell just looking at a graph is you're going to look at this first value right here. This is the A. If the A is positive, it opens up. If it's negative, it opens down. So since this is x is positive, it's going to open upward. Okay. And does it have a maximum or a minimum? Well, if it opens up like this, it's going to have a minimum, because the bottom part is going to be the minimum. And if it opens downward, it's going to have a maximum. So since this opens upward, it's going to have a minimum. And I'm actually going to pause for a second. Okay, you didn't even notice that pause because I'm back now. So it says use Desmos. So if you typed desmos.com into another tab and typed this equation in here, you would see what that looks like. So go ahead and do that. I'm going to have you guys investigate that. But we can keep going because I can figure out what this is by plugging numbers in. So I'm going to plug the number 0 in for x. And when I plug in 0, remember, if x is 0, that's our y-axis, right? So that's going to give me, or my y-intercept, it's going to be where it touches on the y-axis. So I'm going to plug 0 into this equation. So by plugging in 0 in, I get 0 squared. So 0. 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 8. So I'm going to get 0, 0, I'm going to get -8. So we know my y-intercept is 0, -8. So I can go down here and I can put a point at 0, -8. I'm going to put another number in. I'm going to put the number 1 in. And we see that when we plug in 1, plugging 1 into this equation, so I'm going to get 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 8. So I'm going to get 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 1 minus 2 minus 8. 1 minus 2 is negative 1, minus negative 8 is negative 9. So I'm going to get 1 negative 9 here. And let's plug another number in. You can see where this is going. It's going down like this. Let's plug in the number 2. So we're going to get 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 8. Well, 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0 minus, oh, I'm going to get negative 8 again. Oh, look, do you see how it's going to come back up like this? And remember, we talked about it's going to open up, and I know it's going to open up because this is a positive value in front. That's a positive x squared. And it's going to have a minimum, so here we found that minimum. Right here, I see the curve starting to happen, and if you have this on Desmos, you can see that. And so now I'm going to start looking for my x and y intercepts. Let's plug the number 3 in. I'm just going to keep going. So I'm going to get, I'll come down here, 3 squared minus 2 times 3 minus 8. I'm going to get 9 minus 6 minus 8. 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 minus 8 is negative 5. So I'm going to go to 3 down to negative 5. 2, 4, 5 right here. And I can see it's going to go like this. It's coming up. Let's look at this. I know this is going to be where it changes, that makes the turn. So I know that this is going to be my line of symmetry, that right down the middle. And I can also see where my vertex is because that's where it makes the turn. So this is my vertex right here. So my vertex is 1, negative 9. My y-intercept, we knew that that was 0, negative 8 because that's where the x value is 0. And then we want to find our x-intercepts. Okay, let's keep going. But one of the things I wanted to point out by drawing this line of symmetry, do you see how my vertex is right here at 1? And this point is 1 step or 1 unit away from that line of symmetry, so that the other side has to match it. It's 1 step away. If I come up here, this is 1, 2 steps away. So that means if I go 1, 2 steps away here, that's going to be a point because the line of symmetry is like the mirror image. So let's plug in the number 4. And what do we get when we plug 4 in? We're going to get 4 squared minus 4 times 4 minus 8. No, I mean, sorry, 2 times 4. 16. So this is going to be 16 minus 8 minus 8, which equals 0. So I'm going to get the point 4, 0. Okay, now that's one of my intercepts, x-intercepts. We're going to get 4, 0. Notice my y value is 0. And what did we just talk about the line of symmetry? Do you see how this is 1, 2, 3 steps away? If I go the other direction, 1, 2, 3 steps away, I know that this is also going to be an x-intercept, negative 2, 0. Right? So my vertex, my parabola looks just like this. Hopefully that's exactly what you see on Desmos. And then my line of symmetry is always going to be x equals something. Well, what does x equal? At this point right here where I drew my line, x equals 1. And I can see that right here from my vertex. Whatever the vertex is, that's where the x value of my vertex is going to be the line of symmetry. Let's do another one. It's just going to take a lot of practice. You're going to have 3 problems to practice on your own after this problem. And we will go over those problems on Zoom, the homework problems, because they're kind of difficult. So if you show up on Zoom this week, you will get help on page 8. So in this problem right here, let's see if we can, let's see right here. Do you see how that is a negative? So that means it's going to open downward. Okay, so if it opens downward, then that means this value right here is going to be the highest value. So that's going to be my maximum, my max. And where does that maximum happen? Well, we have to find out where the vertex is for that. So it's always nice to start with, let's plug in 0, because we know that's at least going to be our, when x is 0, that's going to be our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is always 0 something. And so let's plug it in. We're going to get 0 plus 4 is 4. So the point 0, 4 is right here. So now what's happening? Let's pick a number to the left and the right of that. Let's see what's going on. Let's pick the number 1. I'm going to do -1 squared plus 4. So I'm going to get -1 plus 4 equals -3, or equals +3. So I'm going to get 1, 3. 1, 3. And then if I wonder if this is our, because it's facing down, so I wonder if that's our top value, our maximum. Let's try -1. -1, and we're going to get -1 squared plus 4. Oh, I'm still going to get -1 plus 4, which is +3. So here we go. We see that the graph is going to go something like this. So this makes our vertex 0, 4. That makes our line of symmetry x equals 0, because remember we said our line of symmetry is always going to be what the x value of the vertex is. And then we're going to start picking some other numbers. Let's pick 2. So we're going to go -2 squared plus 4. So I'm going to get -4 plus 4 equals 0. Well, that's convenient, because then that gives me a x-intercept where it's going to cross the x-axis. So it crosses at 2, 0. And you see how this is 1, 2 away from the line of symmetry? So since the line of symmetry is the very center, you can fold it over and get the mirror image. I'm going to go -2 this way, and I'm going to get the other x-intercept and another point on our parabola. And you can see that if I did that, I'd get -2 squared plus 4. So this would be +4, but then this negative would make it negative. So I'd get -4 plus 4 equals 0. Same thing. So we can get all of this information, and again, you could type this into Desmos and see that it's correct. In fact, when you do these problems on the next page on your own, okay, when you do these problems, type this into Desmos and see if it opens up or down. See if it's max or min. So we've been using Desmos scientific calculator. Now you want to use Desmos graphing calculator, and just type that in. All right, I'll show you on Zoom how to use it as well. Your homework is to do the problems on page 8 and use the Desmos graphing calculator. Get a feel for what these quadratic equations, or what these graphs of parabolas, which a parabola is a graph of a quadratic equation, what they're going to look like. Have a great day. I will see you on Zoom.